Shut the door and stay in the booth. Miss Hanson, you still overseas or you back? Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know. I still can't hear you. Do you have the right microphone selected?
I've been having issues with the mic.
There you go. That's better. Right.
I am back, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Fantastic. I was hoping I could just stay, but I missed everyone in Fulton.
Especially me.
Yes.
How's your son doing?
Huh? Oh,
How's-
you know, being a celebrity
Are they finished filming?
in a week.
Oh, okay.
Being a celebrity. He's going big. Big time. Carlos is going to cover for this case this afternoon, so I'm jumping off. I just want to say hello.
Okay. Well, good to have you back.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, Judge.
Carlos, you want to go ahead and raise your right hand? You swear or affirm you'll translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English to the best of your knowledge, skills, and abilities.
I do, Judge, to the best of my abilities.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Judge.
Let's see, where's Miss Beck? Is she still avoiding me?
Always.
See, she won't even turn her camera on, Carlos.
I'm actually just not smart enough to know how to. I got it.
We don't have anybody in Cobb yet. Got some AC/DC. Hey, Milton.
Judge Manning, Megan Eustace says hello.
Oh, okay. Well, hello, Miss Eustace. Yeah, Tara. Let's see, is Miss Kennebrew coming or is somebody covering for her this evening? And we also have a case that used to be assigned to Mr. Rhodes. I don't know who's got that yet.
That'll be Princeton Hines, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. $502. Well, I guess we got Miss Murray here, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with at least this one. All right, we got Bernard Jackson. When I call your name, you got to wave your hand. If you're in AC/DC, you got to walk up and have a seat. Bernard Jackson. It's number 9, Bostic. 24 PI 000273. 92 days without indictment. There's a $12,500 good bond as of January the 12th, and it's the split bond. VGCSA purchase, possession, have control of, schedule 1 or 2, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
33 cycles, repeat offender. Going back to at least, I think, 08, cocaine. There's at least 8 felonies, 6 arrests for probation violation, 08, cocaine, like I said, 2014, criminal damage to property, entering auto. There's a prior robbery, false imprisonment in 2015. He's still on probation for the robbery sentence in 2018 for 8 years. There's a meth in 2020. And a couple of FTAs, 09 and 2017, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Miss Murray.
Your Honor, Mr. Jackson is 38 years old. He's been in custody for 90 days on drug possession charges. He's not a flight risk. He's a lifelong resident of Georgia. His entire family lives here, and I've been in touch with his father and his brother who plan to support him when he gets out. Mr. Jackson has 4 children. He's a very active father. Prior to his incarceration, he picked up one of his daughters from school every day, and now he's been unable to see or talk to her, any of his children, for months. So he really needs to get back to his family. Prior to this incident, the last felony conviction was in 2020. And notably, Mr. Jackson has a co-defendant in this case, and the substances that were found in the vehicle that he was stopped in were not on his person. So we're maintaining that those did not belong to Mr. Jackson. Additionally, Mr. Jackson does have some medical conditions that make the jail particularly dangerous for him. So we would ask that the UJR on the marijuana remain, and that on the other charge, bond does not exceed $4,000.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, due to the history that was cited by pretrial, we do believe that he does present a risk of reoffending. I did hear an FTA in there, so I would state that he does present a risk of flight. The state's recommendation for the drug charge would be an $11,500 surety bond, and we don't oppose the UJR on the marijuana. And I do see a hold for a probation violation. So he, again, does present a risk of reoffending.
There's a probation violation warrant issued by Judge Cornacell February the 29th, Ms. Murray.
Okay, I don't think that appears on the jailing screen.
It's on Odyssey. It's 24000650 PV.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, no drugs. Is he gonna live in Fulton County?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 1824 Sandringham Drive Northwest. No further contact with your co-defendant, Darius Sanders, Sanders. If available, you have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, your proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'd be working. That would do $10,000 in UJR jail. Best of luck to you, sir. We have, do we know who has Shantia Floyd?
Was that Mr. Rhodes, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna reach out to Mr. Hines.
No, I think he's here. All right, Mr. Hines, you ready for Shantia Floyd, position 13, Bostic, 23 CP 220273, 269 days without indictment. Right now, there is a $34,000 good bond as of December the 15th, 2023. Act assault, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
17 prior cycles, violent conviction history, a theft by shoplifting in 2011, a battery that's old, 2015 ag battery, Cruelton the third, Cruelton first, currently on probation, 19 SC 166333, sentence 6/28/19, ag assault, 1 year confinement, 9 years probation, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry.
That's
Miss
okay.
Floyd- Miss Floyd's a 44-year-old woman. She's been incarcerated very near a year, as you said, without indictment. She's a lifelong resident of Atlanta. She's never lived anywhere else, and her whole entire family is here. She's the proud mother of 6 children and the proud grandmother of 6 grandchildren. She has a good Atlanta address to provide to the court. She is a high school graduate and has some years of college completed under her belt. She has experience working in the security and housekeeping industries, and she'll return to that work on bond. Ms. Floyd does live with fibromyalgia, which of course is worsened by being incarcerated. She also lives with some MH diagnoses. She's been accepted into Women on the Rise. Ms. Floyd would ask for a no contact provision instead of a stay away provision, as her understanding is the complaining witness does not live at the alleged incident location anymore. And I would on that point inquire if the state has had contact with this complaining witness. Given her lifelong ties to the community, given her health issues, and given the fact that she vehemently denies these charges and is eager for her day in court so she can argue her defenses and justifications, I'm asking for her bond to be reduced to $5,000. Thank you.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state recommends the bond remain as set. Your Honor, this defendant does have a violent history, as we've heard from pretrial. This incident did involve the use of a firearm. The victim was shot in this case and did have to seek medical attention. So the state would say that this defendant does present a danger to the community and a risk of reoffending. We would ask that the bond remain as set.
Any contact with the victim, Ms. Rhodes?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, let's see. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Mr. Hines, this has an address listed for her on Mosley Road. The incident location was 176 Troy Street.
The Mosley Road address, I believe, is fine. She's just asking, I don't think she's trying to live at the alleged incident location. She just preferred no contact instead of a stay away.
Well, since we hadn't heard from the victim, and I don't have the victim here, be no further contact with Terrence Milton, M-I-L-T-O-N, stay away from 176 Troy Street. Now, I think I already said no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. You have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. And also, you can leave to participate in the Women on the Rise program. So I got 15, 5,000, and 5,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am. I'll include this on my email tonight to Ms. Willis.
Thank you, Your Honor. And with that, my business before the court is concluded. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Does anybody know if they're handling Ms. Kennebrew's case for her tonight? For Ms. Greer?
I will reach out to her, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Back to Ms. Greer. Second, let's see who we got. Do we have, let's see. Carlos, let's see. Do we have Carlos, how do you pronounce A-L-E-J-O-S? Carlos.
It's Alejos, Your Honor.
Alejos, thank you. All right. Is Mr. Alejos? Wave your hand if you're Mr. Alejos. Carlos, help me out. Gerardo Alejos.
1 North 106, I believe.
Gerardo Alejo,
Tell him to wave his hand if he can hear.
¿puede escucharnos? I can see his hands,
All right.
but he's,
1 North, booth 3.
No, sorry.
No? It's
It's
six out, booth 3.
Sorry about that.
Tell him to sit up a little straighter so we can see his face.
Señor Alejo, por favor, siéntese un poquito mejor para que la juez lo pueda ver en la cámara. Solamente le estamos viendo la frente.
Sit up. Lean back so we could make sure that's him.
Así
There we go.
como
Perfect.
está. Así está
All right.
perfecto, ahí está perfecto.
Yeah.
No lo podemos oír. Un momento.
Thank you. All right. So it's you ready, Carlos? It's
I am ready.
24 PI 000315.
El caso entonces del señor Alejos es el caso 24 PI 000315.
All right. This is Gerardo Alejos, 90 days without indictment.
La juez dice, este es el caso del señor Gerardo Alejos, tiene 90 días detenido sin que hayan formalizado el caso contra él.
Carlos, tell him I need him to pay attention. No eating. He really needs to pay attention.
Ok, préstenos atención, por favor. Deje de comer un momento, ¿ok?
All
Yeah.
right. You got
Judge,
no
you
bond
want
has
me
a.
to unmute him? He keeps trying to say something. Do you want me to try to unmute?
Oh, he
this?
said he was drinking something. That's
It looks like he's saying he's not Carlos, the person. I'm not sure if he's not the person.
that
I'm
Carlos?
I mean, Mr. Lejos, I'm not sure if he's Mr. Lejos.
is that him? Why did you shake
maybe
your head no?
I
Wave
think
your
the person
hand
who
if you're
just entered
Mr.
2 North might be him.
Yeah, that's 2 North, booth 3.
2 North Booth 3.
Su nombre, señor, en el número 3. Usted es el señor Gerardo Alejos. Yeah, he's up on the 2 North.
right. 24 PI 000315.
Ok, señor Alejo, estamos entonces atendiendo su caso, el caso 24 PI 000315.
90 days without indictment, no bond as of February the 6th.
La jueza ha indicado que no tiene usted fianza desde febrero 6 que estuvo en corte y tiene 90 días detenido esperando.
Got aggravated assault, burglary in the first degree,
La juez menciona que tiene un caso de agresión agravada y tiene un caso de allanamiento de morada en primer grado.
battery, criminal trespass,
Tiene un caso de agresión simple y tiene un caso de estar en propiedad privada sin autorización.
giving false name to law enforcement.
Y cuando los oficiales lo detuvieron, lo acusaron de darles un nombre falso.
Judge, 6 prior cycles, conviction, 09 driver with suspended license, 2011 hit and run and DUI. 2
Eh,
arrests out of state for ice holes.
La señora indica que tiene 6 arrestos. Tiene un cargo en el 2009 de licencia suspendida, otro de haber estado involucrado en un accidente y no haberse quedado. Menciona que tiene 2 detenciones por inmigración.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Strong.
Yeah, he says no on the immigration.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Alejos is 45 years old.
La señora abogado dice entonces que lo representa. Usted tiene 45 años.
He has lived in the metro Atlanta area for more than 21 years, but is originally from Mexico.
Indica que tiene usted viviendo en el área metropolitana de Atlanta aproximadamente 21 años. Es original de México.
He's a high school graduate and has worked for more than 20 years remodeling homes.
Dice ella que usted tiene un título de bachiller y que tiene más de 20 años trabajando en remodelación de casas.
He served 2 years in the Mexican Army.
Indica además que sirvió en el Ejército de México 2 años.
He has 3 daughters, ages 17, 15, and 13, who reside with their mother in the Atlanta area.
Dice que tiene usted 3 hijas, una de 17, una de 15, una 13, que viven aquí en Atlanta con la mamá.
And one of the reasons that we were unable to get bond for him at his preliminary hearing is because he did not have an alternative address to the incident location. However, he can reside, I'll let the interpreter.
Dice, y una de las razones por las cuales no pudimos solicitarle una fianza en aquella última audiencia fue porque no tenía usted una dirección adicional a la que dio y que es la donde ocurrió el incidente.
But he can reside with his friend Alberto Rosario at 11 Peachtree Avenue.
Y dice ella que tiene usted la oportunidad de quedarse en casa de un amigo, el señor Alberto, ¿you said Alberto what?
Rosario
Rosario, en el 11 Peachtree Street,
Avenue.
Peachtree Avenue.
We are asking for a bond. I just want to clarify that the charges on the calendar, are there 5 charges on the calendar as reflected in Odyssey?
Yes,
Okay,
two of the previous charges were dismissed.
okay. So we would be asking for 10,000 on aggravated assault, 10,000 on battery, 10,000 on burglary, criminal trespass, 2,500, and false name, 2,500, for a total bond of $35,000.
Ella le indica a la juez que está solicitando que le den fianza en estos 5 cargos que le quedan pendientes, 10,000 por la agresión agravada, 10,000 por el allanamiento de morada, 10,000 por el estar en propiedad privada sin autorización y por los 2 delitos menores, cada uno 2,500 para un total de $35,000 total de fianza.
All right, what says the state? And don't forget about the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor, the state would request no bond in this case.
La
It-
juez le
It's
da la
90 days,
razón.
so he's entitled to a bond?
I'm sorry, I didn't have that
That's,
on
that's
paper.
okay.
Okay.
La fiscal ha anunciado que ella se opone a que esta juez le dé a usted fianza, pero la juez ha indicado que por ley tiene usted derecho a tener fianza.
So I'll revise that for the ag assault.
Ella indica entonces que con respecto al cargo de agresión agravada,
The state is recommending a $50,000 surety bond,
solicita que si le va a dar fianza sea de $50,000,
10,000 surety on the burglary.
10,000 por el allanamiento de morada,
I'm sorry, that's fine. 10,000 on the battery
10,000 en el caso de agresión
and 2,500 on each remaining count.
y 2,500 por cada uno de los delitos menores.
And Your Honor, that will be a total of 70,500. I'm sorry, 75,000.
Y él le dice a su señoría que la fianza entonces que ellos proponen, ella le dé, es de $75,000.
With conditions of no contact with the victim,
Condiciones, cero contacto con la víctima,
a stay away from the incident location,
no volver al lugar de los hechos mientras esté siendo procesado por este caso.
and Your Honor, the reason I went higher on this bond for the ag assault is due to the injury sustained by the victim.
Dice a ella, a la juez, que la razón por la cual ella le dijo a la juez que la fianza por la agresión agravada pidieron una fianza más alta es por las lesiones que sufrió la víctima.
She did sustain a busted blood vessel in her right eye.
Dice que el ojo derecho, por el golpe que recibió, rompió un vaso sanguíneo.
A swollen bottom lip,
El labio de abajo
A bruise
de la
under-
boca golpeado
a bruise under her chin,
y debajo del pómulo un moretón.
and she also lost conscious.
Y indicó ella a los oficiales que perdió el conocimiento después que la golpeó.
Nothing further, Judge.
Eso es todo por parte de la fiscal.
Bostic, do you see anything on there about the arson that he was wanted in, June 6, 2023 out of the city of Atlanta?
Dice la juez, y le pedí a la señora que maneja los antecedentes
will
penales
look,
que
but-
aparentemente tiene usted un cargo de incendio provocado en junio del 2023.
Did you say anything, Bostic?
I said I would look.
La señora
Claro.
que maneja antecedentes penales está chequeando para ver si tiene
Ya.
ese tipo de cargos.
It had a warrant number, I don't know.
Y la juez lo menciona porque está viendo que hay una boleta de arresto que menciona esto.
Oh, hold on, that was closed in, okay, it shows on here that it was closed arson in the first degree.
La juez ve que ese caso de incendio provocado en primer grado fue cerrado, no está abierto.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons.
La juez dice, no puede usted, si sale bajo fianza, consumir drogas, consumir alcohol, no puede cargar armas blancas ni armas de fuego.
If available, you have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment.
La juez impone, bajo la fianza que le va a dar, que lleve un monitor de tobillo que va a pagar el condado, y durante ese monitoreo no puede tampoco salir, sino solo a trabajar.
He has to supply the name of his employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location he'll be working.
Para poder salir a trabajar, tendría primero también que darle el nombre de su empleador, el horario de empleo, y tiene que demostrar que está legalmente empleado.
Stay away from 532 Cleveland Avenue Southwest.
no puede volver al 532 Cleveland Avenue Southwest.
No further contact with MIYONSHIA.
No puede tener ningún contacto. Judge, you said M.I.
MIYONSHIA.
Mishoshai.
And last name is PURYEAR, Puryear.
Puryear no puede tener contrato con esa persona.
Right, we have 40,000, 10,000, 10,000, 1,500, and 1,500.
Judge, you said 40,000, 10,000, 10,000.
40,000, 10,000, 10,000, 1,500, 1,500.
Ok. La juez le acaba de dar fianza. 40,000 por el cargo principal, 10,000 por el segundo, 10,000 por el tercero, 1,500 y 1,500. Sería 50, 60, 63,000. That's a total of 63, right, Judge?
There you go. I'll trust you. Best of luck to him. He can leave the booth. Three south, three south,
Fianza
booth 3. Sit up straight.
Fianza total, $63,000. Eso es todo, ¿ok? Judge,
You
would
can leave
that
the booth.
be
Thank you,
my only
Carlos.
case you need me?
Have a good weekend, Carlos.
Well, tomorrow we still have Friday, Judge.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I won't see you though. So have a good weekend.
Yes, I'll see you
Tell him
tomorrow.
he can leave the booth.
Ok, puede salir entonces ya del saloncito donde lo atendieron. Eso es todo en su caso.
Your Honor, I'm ready to cover for Ms. Kennebrew whenever
Okay.
that case is ready.
All right, we're ready. We got Tara Greer. Thank you, Carlos. Have a good weekend. All right, it's position 4, Bostic 23, CP 222260, 195 days without indictment. As of January the 12th, there's a $30,000 good bond on aggravated assault and cruelty in the second.
Judge, 33 cycles, violent history. I think at least 8 violent convictions, 5 FTAs, prior simple battery, family simple assault, and 07. On probation, ag assault, ag battery, sentenced in 2022, 1 year confinement, 4 years probation. 22 SC 184905. There's an ag assault, 2 prior ag assaults. There's a prior ag stalk, and there's another prior battery. 3 arrests for probation violation. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Greer is 56 years old. The address that is on file is still a good address for her. That is in Fulton County. She has lived her entire life here in the state. She is a high school graduate and then also went to trade school for clerical / nursing work. She didn't finish that program, but she did attend there. She was married. She has been married for the last 3 years. We are asking for a bond not to exceed $8,000, Your Honor. The listed victim is her granddaughter, and she would not be living in the house anymore, so there would not need to be any stay away, or there would not need to be any contact.
Okay. All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $20,000 surety bond on the ag assault and the $5,000 to remain on the cruelty. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, this defendant does have a significant violent history. So we do have some concerns and believe that she is a danger to the community. And as this is her granddaughter, she does present a risk of intimidating this victim. So the state's recommendation will be a $25,000 surety, nothing further.
All right,
Has the
so
state had any contact with the victim?
Let me check.
Ms. Rhodes, anything?
It looks like we did reach out to her and it was not successful. It appears that she may be a minor, so maybe that's why.
So does she not live there for sure, Ms. Beck?
That's correct. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm gonna say no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, and you have to stay away from 2374 Meadow Park Drive if your granddaughter is still residing there, if she comes over. No further contact with Angelica Barnes. You have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with the 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. 15,000 and 4,000. 15,000 and 4,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, Milton. Have a good weekend. See who we got here at Cobb. Are you okay? So don't leave the booth. Just when I call your name, tell me if it's you. Are you Therese Williamson? Thank you. Okay. All right, Miss Beck, you're up. Position 2, Bostic 23, CP 222432. Therese Williamson. 190 days without indictment. Right now, there is a $4,500 split bond as of January the 12th. Possession of Schedule 1 with intent to distribute, failure to obey traffic control device, and marijuana less than announced. Rah.
43 cycles, repeat offender, open case 23 SC 191072, schedule 2 at Barwick on probation for marijuana with the intent, 21 SC 179633, sentenced in 2021 for 9 years. Has a prior marijuana with the intent, cocaine, prior cocaine, FTA in 07, 1 arrest for probation violation, 1 arrest from fugitive from justice, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Miss Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Williamson is 43 years old. He has had a birthday while incarcerated. He does have family that lives here in the state, including his aunt and his wife of 12 years. He went through the 11th grade. Prior to his arrest, he was supposed to start work at the Slutty Vegan, where he will be preparing food. He has a friend who works there, so he's very confident that he'll be able to get that job once he is released. He is a lifelong resident of the state. The address that is on file in Forsyth is still a good address for him. He will be living there with his wife. We would be asking for a UJR because it has been so long that he has been incarcerated without an indictment. So our ask would be a UJR, and he is okay with staying out of Fulton County. I specifically asked him for you.
You read my mind, Miss Beck. You take away all, you still love my thunder.
I'm so sorry.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, we will be asking for a $3,500 surety bond. That's because he does present a risk of reoffending per the history that we've just heard from pretrial, no drugs or weapons.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 15 Peachtree Street. Stay out of Fulton County. The only reason you come to Fulton County Sirs Court or to see your lawyer. You do not darken the door of Fulton County. Don't stop and get gas. Don't get a flat tire. Do all that before you get into Fulton County. You have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment. You have to supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. 2,000 UJR jail, UJR jail. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
All right, let's see. We got some more in Cobb. Wait for them to come in. Hold on. Let's see who else we got here. Oh, who we
Judge,
got?
you have one in Marietta if you have.
All right. Wait. Grab that. All right, so we got Wade Rowland. Is that you, sir? Wave your hand. Wave your hand if you're Wade. Oh, I got you. All right, Miss Murray. Position 12, Bostic 24, PI 000289. 92 days without indictment. Right now, there is a $4,000 split bond as of February the 6th, 2024. Theft by receiving stolen property, theft by receiving stolen property, possession of tools of a crime, and willful obstruction misdemeanor.
Say those charges again.
2 counts of theft by receiving stolen property, felony, possession of tools for a crime, and misdemeanor obstruction.
I guess he can get a UJR. His
What's it? How old is he? What's his history? Because he's
3 cycles. Open misdemeanor, simple battery, family violence, and a prior driver without a valid license. And in 2022. I wrote down theft by receiving stolen property. I did not make notation if it's a felony or misdemeanor or the year.
Yeah, they're both felonies. These are. Go ahead, Miss Murray.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ward is 19 years old. He's a lifelong resident of Atlanta, and he's been in 90 days now on a $4,000 bond. Mr. Ward, I don't believe has any history of failures to appear. He's also never been convicted of a felony. Mr. Ward does suffer from a traumatic brain injury that was caused by him being hit by an intoxicated driver. As the facts came out on prelim, his stepfather seemed to be quite involved in whatever happened here. For some reason, officers did not take out warrants for his arrest. But really, Mr. Ward was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and made the mistake of trusting his stepfather. However, his stepfather no longer lives in the home, and you know, they've kind of gone their separate ways. So he can go home to his mother, who really wants to have him home, but is unfortunately unable to pay his bond because of her limited income. In addition, Mr. Ward did not work prior to this incident due to his disability. He was still working on his GED and would like to be able to obtain that. I'd also like to note that while I was visiting Mr. Ward at the jail, the officers there were talking about the fact that he's a trustee, what a good kid he is. Officer Sampson said that I could personally let you know that he thinks Mr. Ward is a good candidate for a signature bond. We've already reached out to the bail project on this. They're unable to post bond for Mr. Ward, so he really doesn't have any options here other than a signature bond. He's been in custody long enough now. We would ask the court to strongly consider the UJR.
Well, one of them's a gun, so I'm not gonna do a signature bond on a gun. Go ahead. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor, that would be the state's recommendations as well. I was gonna say one of the theft by receiving is a gun. It's currently set at 2,000, which I believe is fair. The other theft by receiving is set at 2,000 and it's for a U-Haul. So we would ask that those two remain as set. For the possession of tools, we would recommend a 2,000 surety and the obstruction 1,000.
All right, so both of those went through pretrial level 1. So I don't know if count 1 or count 2, I think maybe it's count 2 that's the gun. But tell you what, we'll do $1,000 good bond on each theft by receiving stolen property. So 1,000, 1,000. We'll keep the other UJR through pretrial level 1 with wraparound services, and you must be released to your mother, and your adult co-signer is Michelle Ward, W-A-R-D. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with Ernesto Furman, F-E-R-M-I-N. Stay away from all U-Haul properties. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Did she say he have MH issues?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did not order ankle monitor on him, correct?
Yes, ankle monitor, 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, any MH treatment.
Your Honor, is there any way that we could not do the ankle monitor on this case, given his limited history? I don't.
Well, I want to make sure he stays at home with his mom. He's not around his stepdad. Miss Murray, if you put it back on for like 6 months or, you know, maybe 4 months, we'll try. If he's doing a great job, we'll be glad to take it off.
Okay.
All right, let's see. I don't know who we got in Cobb here. Hold on one second. All right, if this is you, just raise your hand. Don't leave the booth, though. Derek Rogers. All right, Derek Rogers, position 6. Mr. Showalter and Ms. Bostic is 23 CP 223722. Derek Antoine Rogers. It looks like he's posted the $15,000 good bond on possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or first offender, but pretrial came off of the other charges. So we're going to be addressing manufacture, delivery, distribution, and possession with the intent to distribute controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2, possession of controlled substance, and marijuana less than an ounce of drug-related object. Right.
18 cycles appears to have a hold for the U.S. Marshals. Open 2 old open cases that's in judicial hold: 09 SC 80513 theft by receiving firearm by carrying a concealed weapon, 09 SC 85936 cocaine with intent and simple battery, 03 ag assault, cocaine with intent, and manufacturing, distribution, and sale. Nothing further.
All right, it alleges that there are 76 grams of heroin. Go ahead, where is Mr. Showalter? Go ahead, Mr. Showalter.
Yes, Derek Rogers, he is 44 years old, He's an Atlanta native. His whole family's here, including 4 kids that he takes care of. If released, he would be living in Atlanta. He works for Amazing Furniture. He drives box trucks with them and helps with the assembly. He has a GED. And I'm asking the court to reinstate the $15,000 bond, but make sure that it's with the sheriff's 10% program.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $15,000 surety on that possession charge. I believe the other charges, there's a
That's what-
UJ.
Yeah, pretrial came off of those. Those are the ones that were surrendered, the pretrial bonds on the heroin and the marijuana and the drug-related objects. Mr. Showalter, your position on those?
Yes, the marijuana, I mean,
Yeah.
that should be a signature bond, and the
Drug-related objects?
drug-related objects signature and then the other one, Odyssey, you know, it's a kind of obstructive manufacture, deliver, sell, distribute. We'll go with 5,000 on that and the 5,000 on the other charge.
All right, what says it? Now that's allegedly 76 grams of heroin. Go ahead. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor, for the heroin, based off of Chief Glanville's standing order, we would recommend a $25,000 surety bond on that count. UJR on the marijuana, the possession of drug-related objects, 1,000 surety. And
Schedule 1.
in the Schedule 1, a $10,000 surety bond.
All right. So we'll keep that 15,000, which I think he still posted that, so we'll reinstate that 15,000 for count 1. 25,000 count 2, 10,000 count 3, UJR jail, UJR jail. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Has to stay away from 369 McDaniel Street Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. Also, he's going to have a ankle monitor paid for by the county if available with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as he supplies the name of his employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location he'll be working. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booth. Corlin Woodall. Okay, what about John Kilgore? Wave your hand if you are Mandarius Williams. Aaron Spencer. All right, now it's one of these in Cobb. Hold on a second, because I just went through all the names in Cobb and nobody waved their hand.
It's not John Kilgore, Your Honor. I can tell you that much.
Corlin Woodall. There we go. Appreciate you. Position 8. Thank you. 24 PI 000330. 90 days without indictment as of January the 15th. There's a $12,500 good bond. That's entering auto with intent to commit a theft or a felony, criminal attempt to commit a felony, and possession of tools for a crime.
For prior adult arrest, 5 cycles, open misdemeanors, 23 CR 0000156B, battery, family violence, simple assault, family violence. Conviction is a battery, family violence, and 22, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Strong.
Mr. Woodall is 18 years old. He lives on Bolton Road in Atlanta with his mother. He is from California, but has been in Atlanta since he was 13, and his entire family resides here. He works at a restaurant called One Love Cafe. It's a family-owned business, and he's been working there for several years. He completed the 11th grade and has a 1-year-old child who resides, who's currently residing with his mother. And I believe he also has another child that's due in a few months. We are requesting a reduction in bond to the amounts of $2,000 on the entering auto, $2,000 on the criminal attempt to commit a felony, and a UJR on the possession of tools.
All right. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety on the entering auto, $4,000 on the criminal attempt, and $1,500 on the possession of tools.
All right.
That's $9,500.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no, and no replicas of weapons. Sorry, you have an ankle monitor if available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. Stay away from 1314 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Marketa, Markatta Bowens, Bowens, 3500 and UJR jail. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
That's my final matter this evening. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good weekend.
You too, thank you.
All right, if you're John Kilgore, wave your hand. All right, there we go. All right, Mr. Kilgore, we got position 10, Bostic, 24 PI 000278. 92 days without indictment. There is a $31,000 good bond as of January the 12th. Burglary in the second degree, criminal trespass, criminal damage to property, second degree, theft by taking misdemeanor, and criminal trespass.
23 cycles. Felonies going back to the 90s for habitual violator, theft by receiving, 1 FTA, burglary in 07, currently on probation for burglary in the second, 3 counts, 23 SC 186905, sentence 1024, 23, 1 year confinement, 4 years probation, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Murray.
Your Honor, Mr. Kilgore is 60 years old. He's been in 92 days. Part of, the reason for Mr. Kilgore's record is that he has been residentially challenged. However, he has been accepted into accountability court and is very interested in participating in that program. So we're hoping that we'll be able to have his entry into the program consented to by the district attorney. But in the meantime, we want to make sure we get his bond lowered to facilitate that. So we are asking that the burglary in the second be lowered to 5,000. We're asking for a UJR in the misdemeanor theft by taking, a UJR in the criminal trespass, and a UJR in the criminal damage.
So, Ms. Murray, it appears that there is a probation violation warrant issued by Judge McBurney on February the 5th. You want that case number?
Yes, please.
24000 411 PV.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. What says the state?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety on the theft by taking, $20,000 on the burglary. He's already on probation for the very same offense, $2,000 on the criminal damage to property, and $3,000 on the criminal trespass.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with any employees from Georgia Power. Stay away from 627 Walton Hall Street in Atlanta, Georgia, and all property owned by Georgia Power. So if you see somebody walking down the street, sir, and they have a Georgia Power shirt on, you can't even talk to them. You need to walk the other way. All right. You have an ankle monitor paid for by the county if available with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, and participate in accountability court. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. 15,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 2,000. 15, 2, 3, and 2. Also must provide an address where you'll be living upon release. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, that concludes my business for today. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
All right, let's see. A good weekend. I think, let's see, we got one more? Yeah, we got. All right, are you Mendarius Williams? Thank you, sir. Position 19, Bostic, 23, CP 222896, 171 days without indictment. $35,500 split bond, with some of it being cash, that somebody said, as of November the 16th. We got false imprisonment, criminal damage to property, second degree, possession of cocaine, reckless conduct, possession of a firearm or a knife, or the commission of a felony, receipt, possession, transport of a firearm by a convicted felon or felony first offender. 171 days without indictment. Free.
9 cycles took a first offender on a robbery and theft by taking criminal damage to property, 1 FTA, couple arrests for probation violation, nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Safarasi.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Williams is 38 years old. We have a good address for him in Fulton County, which he's going to be residing with his mom, and we do have good contact information for her. He spent his whole life here in Georgia. Whole family's here. He has one child. He's a 4-year-old son who's also here in Georgia. At the time of his arrest, he was working for the city of Atlanta. He was doing the tree landscaping type of work. Before that, he did other physical labor jobs and construction jobs. Judge, this particular incident, if you look at the warrant and what came out in prelim, he went into his friend's house and shot out a window, and he did that allegedly because he thought, in self-defense, he thought someone was after them. And so he didn't point at anyone. We don't mind staying away from the incident location or the complaining witness in this case. But that's essentially what happened, Judge. It was not he purposefully was trying to attack anyone in particular or anything of that nature. It was a self-defense. The false imprisonment charge was related to he told her not to step away. It was something like that, Judge. So we're asking for a bond not to exceed $10,000 total. We're asking for it to be a good bond. He's been in 171 days without an indictment. We had a prelim back in November where probable cause was found. That was the last time he was heard on bond. So he was heard on bond almost 5 months ago, Judge. Thank you.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state will recommend that the bond remain as set. This does involve the victim being shot at. We have not.
Objection. There was no one. That's not what the allegation is. No one was shot at. The allegation is that he was shot out a window. No one was outside the window.
Okay.
You got lucky, no one was shot. Bullet has to stop somewhere, Mr. Williams.
And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna double check that. That was why they were dispatched out. We've attempted to reach out to the victim. Her number is not in service. So, Your Honor, we are still trying to get in contact with her. We will ask that the bond remain as set.
All right, we got no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with Rochelle Adams, Rochelle Adams, Adams. Stay away from 510 Pelton Place in Atlanta, Georgia. You also have an income monitor available, paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment, as long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working. So we'll do 10,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 5,000, and 5,000. All of them good bonds. Best of luck to you. 10,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 5,000, and 5,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the boat. All right, Aaron Spencer.
And Judge, that completes my business. May I be excused tonight?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, we got position 5, Bostic 23, CP 218507, 332 days without indictment, a $12,500 good bond as of January the 12th. Aggravated assault, simple battery, simple assault, and terroristic threats and acts. Right.
18 cycles in Georgia, 1 in Michigan, and misdemeanor assault and battery in 2015 there. Here, there's just a felony obstruction, just a history of FTAs, 1 arrest for probation violation, nothing further.
All right, Mr. Showalter.
Yes, Aaron Spencer, he is 31 years old and he is an Atlanta native. We have him accepted into the Salvation Army. That's where he will be going to if he was released. He's willing to be on different programs that maybe the court may sponsor and such. But right now he's on a $12,500 bond that he can't afford. No one he knows can afford. And so I'm asking for count 2 to the simple assault to be a UJR, the simple battery to be a UJR, terroristic threats and acts to be a UJR, and the aggravated battery to be $5,000. We wish to be able to get him into his Salvation Army program.
All right, what says the state?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is for count 1 to remain set at 10,000 surety. For count 2, to remain set at 500 surety. Count 3, 1,500 surety, and count 4, 10,000 surety.
All right, so, sounds as though he's bit part of one gentleman's right ear off. Those are allegations for the aggravated battery. So, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Must supply an address upon release. Stay out of Midtown. Stay out of Midtown Atlanta, sir. And 7th Street, Peachtree, 10th Street, Piedmont, 1001 Piedmont Avenue. Stay away from all Dollar General stores. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. You're gonna have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, medical, employment. As long as you supply the name of your employer, proof of employment schedule, and the exact location you'll be working, and also any sort of participation in any type of program that Mr. Showalter can get you into. No further contact with Elimus, E-L-I-M-U-S, Talley, T-A-L-L-E-Y. No further contact with Keontae Wallace, K-E-Y-O-N-T-A-E Wallace, and no further contact with Lakethia Tony, L-A-K-E-T-H-A Tony, T-O-N-E-Y. So we're gonna do $8,250, $500, and $500. $8,250, $500, $500. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booth. How about Stephen Pravat? I mean, it doesn't even have an attorney listed for this one. Anybody know who's representing Stephen Pravat? Where is Stephen Pravat?
Judge, that's gonna be Ms. Kennebrew. She filed it, the motion for bond on that.
Your Honor, I will reach out to Ms. Kennebrew to see if there's someone covering that hearing as well.
Okay, because it's fair to register, so it should be.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, come back to you. Joshua Dodd. Joshua Dodd. Oh, Joshua Dodd. What about Karante Tenson? All right, Mr. Tenson, thank you. We got position 14, Bostic 23, CP 220940, 244 days without indictment, $30,000 good bond as of December the 15th. Aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, cruelty in the third. We got 23 CP 220941, 244 days without indictment. There's a $25,000 good bond as of December the 15th for aggravated assault and possession of firearm during the commission of a felony. Right.
Cost for bond?
Yes, ma'am.
This is
This is the
No.
Tenson.
Tenson.
Tenson, 12 cycles in Georgia, 1 in Kentucky. Open case 19 SC 165, 1 for 1, forgery in the first, 19 SC 171-387, meth and criminal trespass, 23 CP 217925, controlled substance, misdemeanor marijuana, drug-related object, theft by shoplifting, 1 FTA, and criminal trespass, 22, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Dobbs.
Thank you, Judge. As you stated, Mr. Tenson has been in jail on 2 unindicted cases for 244 days at this point. Mr. Tenson is residentially challenged. There's no way around me presenting that to the court. However, he does have a valid mailing address with PAD at 236 Peachtree Street Southwest. So he does have a mailing program set up. There should be no issue with him receiving notice for his next court date. Regarding his criminal history, most of it that I heard was mostly drug stuff. Further, I do want to state that there was only 1 FTA listed, which would indicate that the vast majority of time Mr. Tenson has been expected to show up at court. He has, in fact, shown up at court. He is a lifelong resident of the Atlanta area. All of his family does live here, so he does have very strong ties to this area. I posit to this court that overall his court record attendance is very good. We all know that the main purpose of bond is to secure one's presence at court, and I don't think there's any reason to think that Mr. Tenson is a flight risk or anything like that, given his strong ties and given that he has seemed to have made it to court the vast majority of times he was supposed to. So because he's been in jail for 244 days without his case being indicted, Mr. Tinson has not been afforded any opportunity to have any finality on this case. He has not been given any chance to assert any substantive legal defenses that he may have, because the state has not moved the case forward. And, you know, on top of all that, he is obviously legally innocent at this point. Because he's been in for such an extreme period of time as a legally innocent person, because